Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo and you're watching another live unboxing. I'm doing this live the day that I have received an iPhone 6. I didn't just receive it, I paid for it. But it was only because of an individual who's been a part of our community for a number of years, Tyler Biedka, that I was able to get this iPhone 6. Now I know many of the people watching today are not the super nomies. That's okay. Happy to have everybody watching live. We've got 934 super nomies. Nomies.com, it's our Patreon campaign. It's because of them that I'm able to do things like this and really be able to get gadgets like this because I paid for it, or will be paying for it with my own money. Thanks again, Tyler. Thanks again to the super nomies, and thanks again to everybody. You're all my nomies. So what's up, my nomies? Did not mean to keep moving the broadcast time. In fact, when I originally scheduled the video, I scheduled it in our vlog channel. I don't want to go in and re-explain how things were done because, by and large, I've kind of already talked through some of the scenarios that many people keep asking questions about, and I hate repeating myself, you guys. If you know me. If you don't know me, I hate repeating myself at times. But either way, I know that many people don't watch TLDR on a daily basis. Shame on you. You should, because I'm doing it every day in this YouTube channel, not the vlog YouTube channel, because there are two different ones now, and I have to bring everybody up to speed, and I figured, well, today's the day to do it. You can get bonuses as one of the super nomies. If you're just one of the regular old nomies, well, you're a good person. Good on ya. Just fist bump. Here, there you go. Use an emoji. Fist bump. Boom. All right, so I'll recap just to bring everybody up to speed. This is not the iPhone I wanted. I still have it. I know. First world problems. First world problems. There's your first Weird Al Yankovic reference of the day. First, there will be a second one. Originally, Tyler had, at an Apple store where he's from, he'd picked up the one or reserved the one that I wanted. I wanted a space gray 64 gig iPhone 6, not a 6 Plus. The reason why I don't want an iPhone 6 Plus right now, I do want one, but not immediately, primarily because Diana Pirillo, my wife, I said I'm thinking you like a Twitter handle here, but Diana, my wife, she knows, sorry, that was weird. She didn't want me to own an iPhone bigger than our child, Jedi Pirillo. So, should we bring Jedi on? Yeah. Come here, sweetie. I know you can't really move on your own. She can't even... That's her head right now. She's like this. So, we're going to get this out of the way. Not out of the way. I mean, I don't want to say that. And I know a new iPhone is beautiful. But this little girl, you're the most beautiful thing in the world to me. I love you. I know you don't understand. She likes the Vader stuff in my workshop, though. Yeah. How you doing? Getting used to the lights in here, huh? Yes. Yes, you are. All right, I've got to move on. But I'm going to stay right here, and you can too. Unless she starts crying again. I told her that she's not going to get an iPhone for a few years, and she kind of got upset with me. Hi. Okay. It's kind of hard. I've been really distracted by the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me. Okay, I'm gonna cry. And not because of the iPhone. Careful, baby. You got her?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So, back to this iPhone. There's a story behind it, right? So, I didn't get the one that I wanted, the space gray 64 gig. And just the iPhone 6, not the 6 Plus. And so Tyler said, okay, the only one they have, apparently, was the gold. And if you know me at all, and I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, you know me at all, I'm not a fan of the gold. I'm always reminded, in fact, I played this, the commercial that Conan O'Brien made, the faux commercial last year after the release of the first gold iPhone. Gold is best! Gold is gold! Gold is best! So I've just been going, that's why this video is somewhat titled, Gold is Best. If you've not seen that video, you have to watch it. It's hilarious. As I tweeted out this morning, and I hope you follow me on social, I said there are three colors for the iPhone. There's space gray, silver, and tacky. There's your second Weird Al Yankovic reference of the day. Tacky. See, this is how different we are. We both like the iPhone, and we like a variety of platforms. Diana also loves her Note 3, as many of you know. When Apple made the announcement of a gold iPhone, she freaked out. She's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! That's not exactly what she sounded like. I sounded like did I sound like Trisha Paytas there? Sorry, Trisha. You know, Trisha, and I don't want to put something into your head, but some people have said that I look a lot like Rick Moranis. This is dangerous. Yeah. Trisha doesn't watch my videos, I guarantee. Now, if someone wants to tag her and say, hey, Trisha, you got mentioned by Chris Pirillo. If you don't know who Trisha is, she's a YouTuber. So, anyway, so I have the iPhone Gold. Is gold because gold is best. Gold is best. I'm going to use this. I'm going to set this up as a phone and use it until my space gray iPhone 128 gig version does arrive, likely within the next week or so. And then once that happens, this iPhone becomes Diana's push present. Now, I didn't know this thing existed. I mean, I knew the iPhone existed, but a push present is something that women, after they give birth, they push and they get a present. I think this is another holiday invented by the people who, sell diamonds, Valentine's gifts, Christmas stuff. I mean, like all the way down. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? Yeah. Marketing campaign.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't believe me, do you?
No.
You should believe me, because I cannot tell the lie.
So Santa Claus?
Santa Claus wasn't invented that way. The Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was. So, I have gold is best.
This is either the best or the worst unboxing I've ever seen. I can't decide why.
If you came along for a short video, you came to the wrong person. If you came here because you expected me to cut to the chase, you came to the wrong person. I'm not going to apologize for the way I like to do these things. And I like banter, even though I never really get to hear anything anybody says. I do have some questions queued up from the Super Nomies there. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and cut into it. Now, by the way, I am going to be doing... Shouldn't shake sharp objects at people. There we go. I am going to be doing a... Oh, by the way, because I'm not a fan of the gold, I do have the black leather case. So I'm going to be putting... I'll have gold facing me, but outwardly, people are thinking I made the right decision. Sorry. Whatever color you want. If you're a fan of the gold, good for you. I'm not here to take away from that at all. It's just I happen to be a fan of black gadgets. I'm a fan of black gadgets. I think that's the first time I've ever said that out loud. It's kind of cathartic to be able to say that. So, what was I going to say? Oh, I'm going to be doing this. God, shook the scissors at people again. I'm going to be doing a second video today that's going to be the initial impressions. So this is going to be an unboxing video eventually. How long into this? 7 minutes in. So if anybody's feeling antsy, you can go ahead and skip the fun part to get to the boring part. You guys know what this looks like. You've seen one unboxing, you've seen them all. It's a gadget. Many of you probably already have the gadget. Some people are just wanting to know. You want to know my perspective, right? That's why you tuned in. I'm not angry at you. I'm just why I gotta explain to people? I want to do it my way.
Yeah.
I like interacting with people as much as I possibly can during these live videos. It's a video now. And by the way, feel free to quote me on Twitter if you want. Feel free to tweet this link too. In fact, did the push notification go out? I don't think I got a push notification from the LockerGnome app. The free LockerGnome app for iOS and Android. Yeah, I don't see it. I know I sent it out too. We're going to be updating that app at some point in the future. Here we go. Pulling away the cellophane. Now, the box itself, I happen to like this box. Some people have remarked that it is radically different, and it is. No doubt about that. But I happen to like that. It's a very clean front. I like that. Less is more. And, if this was Apple's ethos, I think this falls very much in line with their ethos. Not that I thought that the other boxes were garish, but I think this is very stylish. I really do. I always appreciate minimalistic design when it comes to packaging, especially when you're trying to take stuff out of the package. I also appreciate minimalistic design in products themselves. So do I have anything else to cut away? No, I do not. You can tell it's the gold edition because on the side, the iPhone, the lettering there, the font and the logo are in gold. Why? Because gold is best. Have we not established this by now? All right. Here we go. Let's see if we get a box fart. Going for the box fart. This is not going to fall on the ground, unlike the first person on the planet who had an iPhone dropped it on live TV. Yes, I've seen the clip. You don't have to remind me. I've seen the clip. Here we go. This is apparently a 240 frames per second box. Here we go. Here we go. I feel it. Box fart. No box farts. Oh. Wah, wah. There it is. This is going to be your iPhone.
Yeah.
But only after I get my iPhone. Here we go. Whoa. Okay. First, I gotta save my first impressions, but it feels different.
It does.
It feels, and I think empirically speaking, it is heavier than the 5S, but it does feel heavier. For some reason, it just doesn't, it feels heavier to me. Not by much. And remember, this is the 6, not the 6 Plus. Or, as I like to call the iPhone 6 Plus, the iPad Nano. Because it really is. That's what a lot of people are saying. It's very reminiscent of a Nexus 5, which I don't mind at all. And some people have remarked on the design of the bands to help with wireless signals. Yeah, I don't mind them. This just doesn't bother me. I look at hardware design. I'm like, okay, it's clean. I look at this 99% of the time. This is what I care about most. And one of the things that doesn't really perturb me, but I'm not a fan of the white border or any kind of border other than black. That's me. I don't think that's ever going to change. I believe that I will be able to kind of get away with single-handed operation well enough, but I found that sometimes when I'm texting, I'll want to use two hands. But if I need to, you can see if I need to, I can get across the screen with one hand. Down here where the keyboard, where it matters, if I'm not using Siri to dictate. So, this is very, very clean. Still not a fan of the gold. I'm seeing it, I'm going, I know, first world problems. Oh, Chris doesn't like the gold. A couple of other things before I dive into the rest of the box, because this is an unboxing. Hello. Before I dive in a little further, I just want to point out that the power button has now been moved to the side. Right there's the SIM tray. Volume switch over here. There's the other toggle for the either mute or rotation lock right there. On the bottom, you can see we've got a microphone on this side, or a hole for the microphone, and the speaker right there at the bottom. We also have a microphone, if I'm not mistaken. There's another microphone, I guess, up front, in between the flash. The flash? Even though an iPhone cannot run flash. We got the flash, microphone, and of course the camera lens. I'm very excited to do camera stuff. In fact, some of the first pictures I'm going to be taking with this phone, in case you're wondering, follow me on social, you'll see it there, most likely. Some of the first photos I'm going to be taking are specifically of Jedi. So we kind of, both worlds kind of get satisfied there. I'm also hoping to do some side-by-side comparisons of the shots between the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 5S, specifically in low-light situations, specifically with video, specifically, pointing out the differences in the focus pixels, really. And that's probably the most dramatic difference between the iPhone 5 and the iPhone 6. I originally, when I did the live stream with the Apple's announcements after the stream started working for them, they had problems with their live stream. I thought I wanted the 6 Plus because, for one reason, not the screen size at all. What would have won me over was specifically the optical image stabilization that's built into the 6 Plus. Now, I don't really know why that's just in the 6 Plus instead of both the 6 and the 6 Plus, other than being just that one more reason to spend more money on the 6 Plus. But even though I think people would want the 6 Plus, I've seen a lot of sentiment in social suggesting that, it's going to take a while to get used to a bigger screen with an iPhone. They miss, the single-handed usage that you just can't necessarily get with a bigger phone, a phablet, really. And I understand that. And I just had to make a decision that it wasn't worth the sacrifice of a bigger screen, even with a better battery life, even with sharper definition of images and text on the screen with a higher PPI. I've never had a problem with Retina, honestly. And I'll look at a screen and I'm like, well, that's pretty sharp, but my eyes, maybe my eyes are not as finely tuned as many people's, but I just can't see the difference beyond that. Usually. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely sharper than what I've normally seen on a Retina display, but it may be a law of diminishing returns for me. It wasn't worth the trade-off. Then as I started to read more and more hands-on experience with the iPhone 6 Plus, it seems that there are some performance issues with iOS 8 and the 6 Plus, and it could be a limitation of hardware, it could be a lack of optimization with iOS 8 on the 6 Plus, but there's some stutteriness that apparently shows up in certain spots. Web page tabs kind of reload almost on a consistent basis because so much RAM is being taken up, and Apple really hasn't moved that ball forward in recent years with the iPhone. It's ripe for that, but does it really sacrifice usability for some? Well, for some, the trade-off is fine. They want a bigger screen. That's great. That's not me. I don't want a bigger screen. I want a better camera. Don't get me wrong. I want a better camera. And by the way, this isn't a regular TLDR video. That being said, I do want to run through the rest of the box. I'm going to give all of these Supernomies credit, formerly known as the patrons. They can be called patrons or Supernomies. Patrons at a certain level are Supernomies. Tomorrow, I'm planning on doing a live hangout with you, live. Again, I don't have the link for that yet, but Jedi will be joining us, and I think it's just going to be more of a personal hangout, really, of sorts. And the Supernomies will set the agenda for that. See here. How do you feel about Samsung smearing Apple with their "It Doesn't Take a Genius" ad campaign? Asks Matthew Alford. You know, it's easy to do that. You know, it's low-hanging fruit, and you know, if it works for them, it works for them. Unfortunately, it kind of speaks volumes about where their head's at. And to me, really good marketing is just making a better product. Sometimes you have to make it clear to people that you have a better product, but sometimes tearing another company down doesn't necessarily work to make yourself look better. It's just kind of like when you make fun of someone else to make yourself look better, you end up looking worse. And Apple's been guilty of that too. I mean, they had a pretty decent run of the campaign, the classic campaign of Mac versus PC. They've, of course, since moved beyond that. I found those commercials funny. I usually do. I find these kind of like they're poking fun. If they're poking fun in the right way, I don't mind it. But it just, to me, it's just it focuses on the wrong aspect of what makes a good marketing campaign. And to me, it's like a smear campaign. It's smearing. And I don't know if they need to do that. I think Samsung's products, for what they are, I think can stand well enough on their own. I think it's just awareness that the products exist, and I think Samsung's got a pretty good foothold on the marketplace as far as Android devices are concerned. But I don't know. I feel weird when I see that happen. It just doesn't. It still kind of bothers me. Let your product be the marketing, and then go from there. Let's see here, moving on. Can you use the iPhone 6 with one hand? Edric Vasquez asks, seemingly just initially, for what I might want to use it for in one hand, and that is primarily the keyboard, I think I'll be just fine. Of course, there's a feature now with the iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus where I'll be able to just double tap the Touch ID button at the bottom, the Touch ID sensor right there, and pull icons or the interface down so that I can more easily get to it from a single hand. So I'm not too worried about it initially. We'll see what happens, and I'll be holding up the product side by side here in a second. Going on with the unboxing, now that we flipped through all these people to give them credit, let me go ahead and kick in the screensaver. Don't you love that? Electric Sheep, cross-platform, and open source. It's a little piece of plastic in which sits the iPhone 6. You know, one of the things that also bothers me about the iPhone, and this has never changed really, you notice everything that I'm pulling out and everything that you see in here is white. It's fine if you have the silver iPhone. Maybe even I could forgive them, you know, for the gold is best iPhone. Everything's white. But even if you get a space gray, or come on, let's face it, black iPhone, everything's still white. That bothers me to a large degree. They have black Thunderbolt cables, but they don't have black Lightning cables. And that really, it sticks in my craw. So here we go. The rest of the box, we've got instruction books and assumedly stickers that I'll never use. We've got the AC adapter for USB right there. And I was just looking to see if there are any... there's no green dot on this. I don't know if we need a green dot necessarily, although that worries me because I only like to use these adapters when I see that green dot so that because there was a recall and the green dot meant that you had the newer updated one. There's no green dot on this AC adapter. For better or for worse. Here's the earpods. I never use them. They're very uncomfortable for me. I'll keep them. I actually did a video last year. There's a very brief video, like a minute-long video, showing people how to wind these things back up properly.
Those look different though.
No, they're the same. They're the same. I'm not a fan. I don't like sticking anything in my ear. And then the lightning cable right there. Not to be confused with Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt and lightning, not very frightening me. Galileo. She's doing well over there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because she's eating. Yeah, I'd be doing well too.
Yeah.
She's happy. And her daddy is tacky. So that is, you know, honestly, for an unboxing, that's about as much as I possibly can do because I want to save my initial impressions after I kind of get this set up a bit, and I'll come back in maybe another hour or so, do another live broadcast. I'll be sure to send out that link on social so you know exactly where it is. Of course, you could also just, you know, subscribe to this channel and you'll be aware of, oh, Chris is going live right now. Boom. So I'll get the link out there. Do not worry about that. I'm checking to see what other questions we have here. How light does the iPhone 6 feel in relation to the iPhone 5S? Okay, let me take the iPhone 5S out of its case. And yeah, I think, okay. It feels not heavy, weighty. You got it. This is the best way to do comparison. You pick one up, put it down, same hand. It doesn't strike me as that much of a difference, but I still barely feel that the iPhone 5S is lighter. And I felt the same way moving from earlier iPhones to the newer one. I thought that the iPhone 5S was dramatically lighter. It felt that way. Maybe it's just a different balance in the hand. I mean, obviously you've got a phone that's wider here and taller. Not by much. Let's go ahead and try to do a side-by-side. Do some side-by-sides. I'll do some comparisons for you guys. You might like that. Guys and gals. Because girls can be geeks too. I already went on a rant there on Facebook, and many people like that video and that TLDR. And I even tweeted out a link. If you're a boy and you don't think girls can be in tech, you don't deserve the tech that you have, because a lot of what you have in technology is largely because of the contributions of women. Tweeted out the link earlier. Don't want to start a war because there's no argument. Just because you don't have a penis doesn't mean you can't be a geek. So here we go. I'm actually, you know what? For a comparison, it's nice to have a different color behind it. So it's definitely bigger. Right there. Taller at least. It's definitely thinner. Substantially thinner. Of course, you have rounded edges on the iPhone 6 compared to the iPhone 5S. Still a big fan of the space gray, no doubt. Okay, anything else there? I think it feels light-ish, but maybe a little heavier. If it's heavier, I'm sure it's not by much. It's imperceivable, but definitely, absolutely feels different in the hand. Not just because it's. And here's the thing, it's. I mean, it's wider. It's just shy of a centimeter wider, just shy. But the fact that it has rounded edges, it makes me very happy that I also have the leather case for the iPhone 6. Very happy about that. I'm a big fan of protection. In fact, obviously I didn't use it once.
Hey.
So
On that note.
I am so quotable on Twitter. Some people are, just get to the unboxing. You're missing gems, man. I will likely be putting on some kind of a glass front. I may be going with a couple of options. We've actually got a deal on deals.lockergnome.com for people. I will be looking for a pretty decent case for protection of not just this iPhone, but certainly the one I plan on getting, or the one that I've ordered and should be here within a week or so. I like protecting the phone. You know, I'm a fan of that. Now, I was just reminded of this. The iPhone 6 has in the 6 Plus. You can see the camera. Let's see if I can get the right angle. Let's see. Here, I'll use my hair as a background because my skin is too white. Can you see that? Can you see the camera lens? They're just barely popping out. If I can get it flat. Oh, I guess my skin makes a better background there. People are bothered by that. I'm not bothered by it if I know that I got a better camera because of it. Here's the thing. They could have made it a less powerful camera, or they could have made it a thicker iPhone all around without necessarily needing to make it a thicker iPhone. So they, from Apple's perspective, but they also saved the thickness of the phone outright. And I think they made the right decision. I would rather have a lens that protruded with a better phone, or a better camera lens. And then, of course, I'd imagine that cases are going to mitigate a lot of it. I use a case, some people don't. It's just not going to be an issue for me. I'd rather have better optics. Still, I wish they would have put optical image stabilization in there. Maybe and I'm really hoping that, because it just feels like the way that Apple approached this, the 6 and the 6 Plus, is that the 6 Plus, it seems like it's the flagship device. And that bothers me because it's like, well, but the only thing, I mean, I understand bigger screen, better battery life because you got a bigger phone. It just doesn't make any sense to me why they saved optical image stabilization just for the 6 Plus. I'd be substantially happier if that was available in the 6 as well, substantially. Because then I would feel like we've got two flagship products, and it would be more, not just easier to choose for me, but some people want a bigger phone because it's a bigger screen. I don't know how many people chose it just for the optical image stabilization. I could be wrong. But I just don't think that should have been the massive difference beyond screen size, because I think everything else was different enough between the two. Does it still fit comfortably in your back pocket. I never stick the phone in my back pocket. Never. In a front pocket, of course, I'll stick it in. There we go. Very comfortable. It's in there. Right there. It worked. Very happy. By the way, I'm wearing a Scott E vest. I call it my dad E vest now because I've got like 47 pockets in this vest. That's not hyperbole. I actually have 47 pockets in this vest. See here. Does the gold seem as subtle as last generation or more flashy? It seems about the same. Is gold. And gold is best. Or as I say, it's so tacky. See, I know some people say, oh, just use the case and cover it up. I can, but I still see the gold around the Touch ID. And then the white. Hey, you know what? But I could have waited. Diana, I don't think would have been disappointed. I mean, she's happy she's going to be inheriting this phone, but I could have waited. But if I would have waited, I mean, let me put it this way. Some person tweeted last night, and it was a little rude, but he tweeted like, well, are you late much? Because I'm basically doing this the day after everybody else got their iPhone. Everybody else uploaded their iPhone videos yesterday because that's when they got it. I didn't get the iPhone yesterday. If I would have waited a week, I know how many people would have screamed bloody murder, like, you're so late. Really? Being a week late? Being a day late? Being an hour late sometimes anymore? Like, people just want to move on with their lives, just like a lot of people have likely wanted to move on with their lives. But, if you don't like the way that I do videos, that's your prerogative. I love the way I do videos. Jonathan, one of the Supernomi, says, not an iPhone or iOS fan, but I must admit that the 6 is a nice phone in the hand. The Plus is too big and too thin, just doesn't feel right. He uses an LG G2. Jay and Corey, the NewTube vloggers, say, do you know if the 6 Plus will have waveform in iMovie like the iPad? I haven't used it. I imagine that if the app gets updated specifically in landscape mode, that would be a landscape mode type of app. I'd imagine it's a possibility. I don't use iMovie all that much anymore. It's not. I used it for a while, but not so much anymore. Not very rarely, if ever, on an iPhone. Matthew Purcell asks, and by the way, my dad who does videos, he almost exclusively uses iMovie on the iPhone and primarily the iPad. Matthew Purcell says, hope he can make it live. Matthew, I don't know if you're tuned in at all. Hopefully you are. See, now Gavin, this is great. Do you think optical image stabilization is a make or break feature? I use the camera a lot, and that's a big reason why I'm thinking about getting an iPhone 6 Plus. But I'm not sure I want to wait 6 weeks to pick one up, especially when my local Apple store has plenty of the 6. Do you think digital image stabilization is good enough for everyday casual use? I do. If most of your photos are outdoor photos, you're probably not going to see the difference. If most of your photos are indoor or low light photos, you may see the difference. I have seen, I don't want to say they're dramatic differences, but less noise, more definition coming from images taken with the iPhone 6 compared to, the 6 Plus has a better quality image, especially when you zoom in and see things. A better quality image than the iPhone 6 does. 6 Plus has it over it. I mean, that's what optical image stabilization can bring to you. If 99% of the photos you take are going on Instagram, it doesn't really matter. But, in terms of average use, like I said, I had to make that trade-off too. That's the one feature I would have really, really liked to have in the 6. That would have made me very, very happy. At this stage, I think I'm going to be happy enough. I always look forward to getting any new product from any of the major companies like Google. Can't wait for the next line of Nexuses, and of course Android L. The same holds true from anything that Microsoft might push down the pike. Usually, although they haven't done much in the device world, recently, and they're kind of going through their whole restructuring. And then of course Apple stuff as well. I like trying a variety of experiences, so I always look forward to a new phone, if only. Not just because of features, better camera. Typically in an iPhone, you get a better camera, as well as it's usually faster. Those are the two primary reasons. Allegedly 50% faster in the graphics front with the A8 compared to the A7 and the 5S. I'm talking about the 6 and the 6 Plus, of course, and it has the A8. And then it's about 20% faster overall. So I'm hoping that certain things will be smoother, of course, more responsive. I can usually see the difference between a 20% in a 20% jump in speed. I can usually perceive that. Of course, I have not used it. The only stutteriness I found in iOS 8 on the iPhone 5 to this point. Now, of course, it's definitely got a fair share of bugs. I'm having pretty not huge problems, but I'm having issues with email on iOS 8 on the iPhone 5S, and it's been frustrating. And I'm hoping this move and it will actually help somewhat. God, where was I? Sorry, guys and gals. I was talking about the different. Oh, the only thing that I've seen that's been an issue with stutteriness in the 5S on iOS 8 is that in the weather app, the default weather app, it seems the animations aren't optimized. Like you'll tap to go from the fan view to the weather view, and you can definitely see some dropped frames. It's not optimized yet. I think iOS 8.1 should be more optimized than 8. I think that kind of, or should go without saying. But this is something that it just bugs me. It really does, because it's like initially I thought, well, geez, I mean, did someone from the Android team of Android 2.x decide to rewrite the weather app? Like, how could you go from a really good experience to something that's choppy? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. But apparently, even Ars Technica went in and did benchmarks between the 5S and the 6 on iOS 8, showing that iOS 8 on older devices could potentially run slower than certainly on newer devices. So I don't know if Apple's fully optimized the code for iOS 8. They got it out the door, but I would expect a lot of those optimizations, much like with iOS 7, to come down the pike with certainly 7.1 and now eventually 8.1. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I always look for those performance increases. This is another reason why I kind of steered away from, even though this would be more of a software issue, I steered away from. So you get more than just an unboxing with me. I just blah 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 blah. You get more of a performance hit potentially with the iPhone 6 Plus. It's got to push more pixels down the pike. Yes, it's got a larger battery, but it's pretty much running on the same processor. It's pretty much got, hardware-wise, in terms of the thing that makes it go is pretty much the same stuff. Virtually the same innards, at least in terms of what's powering it, apart from the battery. And, I may be missing, certain bits and pieces here and there, but either way, it just, from everything that I've seen, there's some issues with the iPhone 6 Plus where they're not as visible, if they are visible at all, on the 6. And that's something that I do believe can and should, don't know if it will, be addressed in an iOS 8 or an 8.1 update, or potentially iOS 9 or beyond. Of course, by the time we're talking about iOS 9, we'll be ready for the iPhone 6S and the 6S Plus. Why did they go with Plus? Couldn't it have just been like 6? What would I have gone with instead of Plus? Not Pro. That's bad. I would have called it the iPhone 6B, like big. Big. He's so big. Or P, 6P, pixels. There you go. Yeah, that'd have been awesome. What do you think about that? 6P, iPhone 6 and 6P. But then again, when they went forward with it, they couldn't do 6PP. 6PP? That'd be bad. Okay, never mind. Apple, do not listen to me when it comes to the marketing stuff. Hopefully you're listening to me in terms of some other performance issues you're running into. So I'm going to go ahead and wind down. Thanks again. Tune in for liking this video. If you have not already subscribed, thank you for subscribing to not just this channel, but the vlog channel. We got geeky stuff over there in the daily vlogs. I know you think it's all baby, but it's not all baby. At this point, it's mostly baby. Here's the funny thing. In terms of everything that I've shared with the world over all these years, I've never been more proud to share something than the biggest accomplishment I've ever achieved, and that is my daughter, my baby. Anyway, and it seems like a lot of people are very, very supportive, so thank you for that. I appreciate the support. Appreciate all the support from the Super Nomies. Thank you once again. And hang on, let me see here. Dan Bennett says, Alex, I mostly notice it when closing Spotlight. See, there's an issue there. There's an issue. Some people are talking about it, the stutteriness that I've seen. Okay, so I can't pay attention to the comments, otherwise I will be here all day, not being able to to boot this up for the first time because it's not a first boot up. I will be doing a second separate, obviously, or semi-obviously, video of my initial impressions after I kind of get things going and up to speed, and you can stay tuned for that. I'll be sharing that link in this channel soon. So thanks again for all your support. At this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices.